Hi everyone, welcome back to WHU TV. My name is John, your host as always, and I hope you're doing well as I always do. Apologies guys, I've just noticed I need to update the background. I thought I did it. There we go. That's better. This is the live stream of episode 31 of the weekly live chat. I hope you guys are all doing well as usual. As always, this video is sponsored by the channel sponsor 3retro.com. Please click the link in the description below that will take you directly through to the West Ham section of their website, where you can purchase some really nice retro gear, guys, as you can see from the icon up here. And there's also England merch in there as well, casual gear as well as replica shirts as well, along with West Ham colour, so basically out and blue track jackets, polo shirts, sweatshirts and t-shirts. And as I said, there's England stuff in there as well. As always, any commission that the channel will get from any of your purchases, which have been few and far between, shall we say, then the commission that we do get from any purchases that you guys make will be going to Iron Supporting Food Banks, the charity I've been asking you guys to donate to since Christmas. So guys, I hope you're all keeping all right and keeping well. Let's just take off that animation now. Let's get rid of that. And let's get cracking to see first and foremost, of course, who's in the chat. Good evening, Jake. Hope you're all right. Good evening, Rick. I'm glad you're liking the flag there, mate. Because obviously tonight is England, and so we're not going to have the full hour tonight, because obviously the England game kicks off in just over 40 minutes time. So I'm going to try and keep it to about 40 minutes itself. So I can, because I'm going on to Garage Football afterwards for their live watch along with, because I did the Albania game, and I'm going to be doing the England game as well tonight. So England-Poland, I should say. So guys, as always, anyone else is Jeremy's just come in. Welcome, Jeremy. Hope you're all right, mate. So as always, guys, let's start off with this just to say the on this day, because as you know, I like researching this, and it's a bit of a shame that Brain Sample and a few others aren't in at the moment, because on this day back in where are we, in 1986, Tony Cottee and Frank McAvenny both scored when we beat Spurs at home at the Bowling 2-1 on this day in 86. It was Easter Monday. So you can never grumble with getting a home victory over Spurs. Absolutely love that. Absolutely love that. Jeremy's asking who's broadcasting the England game. Nobody's broadcasting it, mate. But the watch along is going to be with Garage Football. So when this wraps up, go over to Garage Football, because myself and Bill and a couple of others will be talking about the game live as it happens. Now, of course, Sunday was the start of the Formula One season, and what a season opener that was. Very, very tense, very, very tense race between Mika. No, I was going to say Mika Hakkinen then, but I can never remember. I can never pronounce his name right. But him and Dozy Bollock, shall we say, Lewis Hamilton. Very, 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 very good race. Really, really enjoyed that over in Dubai. Fantastic race to watch, which is one of the reasons why I didn't join in with the England watch along for the second, the whatever the game was, the where we beat them 2-0, because by the time the Formula One race had finished, it was pretty much half time. But was it Croatia or whatever it was? But yeah, but England. Actually, bugger it. I'm going to go off script in a minute. Good evening, Gary. Hope you're all right, mate. Going to go off script for a little bit, and let's talk about the England lineup. So, in goal is Pope, as we all were hoping for. There's also Walker, Chilwell, Rice, Stones, Maguire, Foden, Phillips, Kane, Sterling, and Mount. On the bench is two goalkeepers. That's how many people are going to pipe up about that. Is Henderson and Johnston. Trippier, Lingard, Cody, James, Dyer, Calvert-Lewin, Mings, Shaw, Watkins, and Bellingham. So it's going to be a very, very interesting game tonight, guys. It genuinely is going to be a very, very interesting game. Jeremy, as I said, Garage Football. So garage as in car garage, and football as in football. Rick, he's not in the UK, mate. That's why he's asking about what channel it is. He's not in the UK, so he won't be able to watch ITV, unfortunately. Unless he's using a VPN, of course. Mitchell, hello mate. Ain't seen you for a while. Hope you're keeping all right. Mitchell says no desire to get behind England with that absolute fraud managing. Another career England man who won't rock the boat. No thanks. Fair enough, mate. Fair enough. Rick says it's a good lineup. He's thinking 2-1. Mitchell's just in here to cause trouble, as he always is, but it's good to see you, mate. That's what happens with you. You wouldn't be saying that if there's more Liverpool players in there, mate, would you? And Nathan Lockchurch, good afternoon for you. It's good evening for us. Not always nice to see fresh new faces. Okay, yeah, you wasn't sure, mate. So that's fine. You didn't give us proper context on that because I was talking about garage football. Yusef, hello. Hope you're all right, mate. But yes, okay. So so we've gone through the England lineup. So that's quite a good lineup for them, to be fair. And I think 2-1 over Poland. I'm thinking 1-0 myself, but you know we've got potentially Fabianski in goal, so could be interesting. And Gary says 3-0 to Rice to score just to make him even more valuable. Possibly. Now yesterday, Mitchell says keep them fresh for the club. Football, I'll take that. Fair enough. You know, football does divide a lot of opinions over club versus country, and that's completely fine. So I thought there won't be weekly chat this week. It felt like a long time since the last live stream. It has been a long time, mate. It's a week, but we're always doing it. I was quite close to not doing it, to be fair, but there's a lot of because I've had this week off work. I booked it off. I've been a bit cheeky because it's half year end, but I thought, you know what, I need some time off, and if I hadn't taken the time off, I would have killed someone, quite frankly, because it's been quite a few stressful weeks with work. But yes, so I spent Monday and Tuesday out in the garden, which brings us very, very nicely on to the records. Now, temperatures yesterday were the highest they've ever been for 53 years. The highest recorded temperature yesterday was 24.5 degrees Celsius in Kew Gardens. On as of this morning. So it was literally West London technically. So it's kind of it's Surrey really. Kew Gardens is actually Surrey, but it's deemed as West London, so it makes it sound a lot posher than Surrey for some random reason. But yes, the hottest temperature before that was in Cambridgeshire at 25.6 degrees in 1968. So I hope any of you guys got out in the sun over the last couple of days. It's been overcast, still quite a nice day, but it's been overcast today. And there's obviously a lot of people thinking because it's cold, it's cloudy, it's colder. It's not really. It's only a few degrees cooler, but it's been brilliant. Brilliant. It's been so nice to have that. That's one of the reasons why I booked this week off work. Get out in the sun, enjoy it while we get it. You should have honestly loved the look of the thing behind you more than something else. Well, tough shit, mate. Because it's here. It's here. It's going back up after the England games this week. It's going back up. Yusuf says 53 years. That's a long time. 24 degrees. That's it. Yusuf, context. Yeah? Context. Don't start this bollocks again. March. We never have temperatures higher than 20-odd degrees, and it was 24.5 degrees. That's the whole point. As I said, which again proves you're not listening. On Tuesday, that date yesterday was the hottest temperature we've ever had in March as of that date for 53 years. What's not clear? Seriously, what's not clear? So, okay, you didn't hear it. Well, that's what I'm saying. You're not listening because it was. I said yesterday was the highest temperature for 53 years. What part of it doesn't get? But okay. But also with some interesting news coming up to football stuff. New changes coming to VAR next season again for the third season in a row now. Absolutely brilliant. Nathan says, I used to sell West Ham fanzines outside Upton Park. It was called On the Terraces. Do you remember that fanzine? I don't, to be honest, mate. Yusef, I did feel very hot, mate. Yes, I got a little bit. I would be looking a little bit more see-through if I wasn't out there in the garden yesterday, mate. I'm telling you that now. But VAR changes for next season have been confirmed. So one of the changes is on-field monitors. So basically, technically, they are all Premier League referees are going to have access to pitch side monitors, which is brilliant. They all do to a degree already, but more. But basically, they haven't worded it this way, but it's going to be the fact that it's going to be more on-field monitors, which is not hard to do. To be fair, it really isn't hard. Now, there's also a bit about goalkeeper encroachment, as we talked about around about this time last year when the rules were about to be changed. Keepers have a tendency to come off their line when facing a penalty, but this is going to be stamped out under the new VAR changes. I don't get it. I just don't understand why they want to tinker with that. I really don't. It gives the striker more half a second advantage. From next season onwards, VAR will be on the lookout for encroachment from goalkeepers. A retake will be ordered if a goalkeeper steps off the line before saving a penalty. Blah 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 blah. Actually, this is the thing, because I did read this. Yeah, and also, likewise with player encroachment, on a similar note, players encroaching in the area when a penalty is taken is going to be picked up by VAR. If the defenders are in the box when a penalty is missed, a retake will be issued by VAR on one condition: they were active in clearing the ball away afterwards. Okay, so basically if a goal scores, it's not going to be done. And also, for that matter, offside rule. There'll be no new changes to the offside rule as such, but there will be in the way officials call it. Assistant ref. Blah 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 blah. This is no. Actually, do you know what? I genuinely think this is. I did read this earlier, but I genuinely think this is the same article that came up this time last year, because conveniently there's no dates. But there is basically call of VAR to be changed where we've got, for example, a little bit more of window for everybody to be able to for everyone in order to be able to watch it here and there. This is the thing. It's there are going to be more gaps in how VAR is implied with the offside rule, which is good. It is going to be reviewed properly, and a few other things. So I'll try and find the article for next week, because I thought that was the link I was reading. It's not, unfortunately, but it does need changing. It really, really does need changing, because at the end of the day, it's just absolutely bloody stupid. Now, for the West Ham supporters in here, the fixtures for next month have been updated completely, because I know we talked about it when it was updated the other week, but the Chelsea fixture was still hanging in the balance at that point. That is now been updated, so all 4 games are live on Sky Sports, and of course we'll be doing the live watch-alongs for every single one of them, with about 5 to 10 minute kickoff beforehand. Monday's game, 8:15, so be here for 8 o'clock on Monday night for the live watch-along away to Wolves. It's a 8:15 kickoff, as I said, live on Sky Sports. Then we're at home to Leicester on the 11th of April. Again, Sky Sports, 5 minutes past 2. Why do that? Why do 5 minutes past 2? Just do 2 o'clock. It's ridiculous. And then Saturday the 17th of April, Newcastle away, live on Sky Sports, 12:30. So we'll be live from 20 past 12 for that. And 24th of April, Chelsea at home, again Sky Sports, 5:30 kickoff. So the evening kickoff, and so we'll be good for that. We'll be good for that. Yusuf, it looks like you're the only one that's experiencing lag, because nobody else is talking whatsoever. There's 9 people watching, but no one is talking. That's interesting. It's a bit of a shame, unfortunately, but it is what it is. And also, for that matter, so by all means, guys, feel free to chip in at any point. Otherwise, we're gonna wrap this up in about 5 minutes, because nobody's actually engaging in the conversation whatsoever. So the whole point of this is to say, as it says down here, guys, live chat, weekly live chat. So come on, engage. Come on, engage. Because I say this is going to be done in literally in 5 minutes, because there's only 2 things more to talk about, and nobody's interacting. So please do as soon as possible. Unless you're all off there watching Emmerdale. Of course, but very interesting to read yesterday that there's been the first ever female referee has been appointed in the EFL. A lady called Rebecca Welsh, who's from the northeast of England, if I remember correctly. Yeah, she's from Washington, up in County Durham, and she's set to take charge of the League Two clash between Harrogate Town and Port Vale on Easter Monday. Welsh has officiated seven National League games this season, but will create history by refereeing the match at the Enviro Stadium next week. She said on the EFL's website, initially I wasn't really aware of being appointed as the first female referee. I was just given the appointment and I was over the moon. But when you kind of reflect on it, you think you're the first woman ever to do this, so I'm extremely proud, and my family's extremely proud as well. I do think it's important to show that women who are in the top 1% of their category can proceed to the next level, so it definitely makes others down the pyramid look up and know that they can achieve the same. It shows that there is a real opportunity to young girls who are wondering to take the whistle or are already referees. They can aspire to be an EFL referee or like Sian Massey Ellis operating in the Premier League. I can never pronounce her name right. I'm really proud of it because my journey as a referee, I started with not really having any aspirations to be doing things like this interview. In the last 10 years, I've put a lot of hard work and commitment in, and I've reaped the rewards from that by getting promoted. But I'd never seen myself as a trailblazer until last year, where I've started to accept it because I think it's important that people who are fortunate enough to be in my position or similar can show people that this can be done. And she goes on about it, just how fantastically happy she is about it, and quite rightly so. Rick says it's good for female referees in the men's game. It's not exactly. Yusuf's asking, what are you reading? Was it your choice or it came up as a suggestion you started reading? Yusuf, seriously. Do you know what, mate? If you don't start, without sounding like a parent, if you don't start bucking your ideas up, mate, I'm not going to be reading your comments out all the way. Because if you want to go and troll me and get yourself blocked or timed out. It's entirely up to you. But we're here to have a conversation, and I don't appreciate you taking the piss the entire time. All right? This is your last warning. I've warned you last week and every other week before that. This is your last warning on this. Jeremy says, what's the latest on Lingard being offered a three-year contract, and do you think he's coming to us, or is it what happens in the next 9 main games? Jeremy, fuck knows. Nobody knows. It's all speculation. Rumour. I don't get involved in rumour in any shape or form. Well, if you're asking serious, mate, then why are you putting a ha-ha at the end to show that you're taking the piss? But Jeremy, I have absolutely no clue whatsoever on what's happening with it. I'm not in the know. I don't have any links at the club in any shape or form. And as I said previously beforehand, don't get hooked into the rumor mill that's on Twitter and Facebook. It's 95% of the time it's just complete bollocks. We just don't know what's happening, so nobody knows. So once we find a reliable source, because don't get me wrong, mate, I've been looking at it the same as you. I've been reading all the articles, trying to figure out what's going on. But yeah, when there's specific information to talk about, I will talk about it, as you guys know. But this is information that there's not enough information on this to base a coherent decision on or an opinion on, because we're only seeing what certain people on Twitter are saying, which is making it into the newspapers, so people misinterpret what's in the papers as actual fact. And so when I hear from reliable sources of what the genuine situation is, then I will tell you. But as it stands at the moment, I'm not seeing any reliable sources, or all it is people's opinions. No, there's no actual fact coming out on it. But as I say, going back to the topic, it is fantastic that the women are starting to get into higher echelons of football. Very, very good. As Rebecca stated in her interview there, it is literally down. She's taking inspiration from Sian Massey Ellis, she's been a lines person, as that I'm guessing the terminology will be now, for the last three seasons, last couple of seasons. But Yusuf, as I say, you've got to understand the concepts of this, right? It's a conversation. You just keep coming in, taking the piss the entire time, when I'm trying to have a conversation with everybody, and I don't want to block you. I want you to engage properly, but don't come in with your comments like you're taking the piss. I said it last week. It's about how you put it over. You read that back, and you'll see, and it comes across as you're taking the piss. When I've taken my time out of my day, as we all do on YouTube, to create content for you guys, and to come in and to have the piss taken out of me, isn't very respectful, isn't very nice, and shows your level of maturity. So I'm happy to draw the line and go over this again, but mate, you do it again, and your comments won't be coming up anymore. You're more than likely to like it and say stuff. That's entirely up to you. But this is engagement where we're having a conversation. And to have a conversation means you don't take the piss with every single thing that you do. Clear? And the last thing I want to talk about is the changes to the Champions League that are potentially coming in next season. This is really quite interesting news. And before you say it, I know I say I don't care about the Champions League, and I don't care about it. But what I do care is that people knowing about stuff that people might not be aware of. That's the whole point of this live chat, right? Is the fact that the decision of what's going to be happening on the Champions League format is still being delayed, because the clubs are obviously still, and UEFA and FIFA and everybody, they're all getting together to try and sort the thing out. But there's talk about it becoming where are we? Under the new format, the group phase would be scrapped. So the current group phase would be scrapped. In its place, a number of qualifiers will be expanded from 32 to 36, with space for 2 wildcard entries. The wildcards will be reserved for clubs in the highest UEFA coefficient, points used to rank clubs based on past European success, who have not qualified for the competition through their league position. If the format is being used now, based on the current table, it would mean Liverpool would gain a Champions League spot despite finishing 7th in the Premier League. So basically, it kind of works out in the same sort of way that the way that when you win the FA Cup works. Like, for example, if somebody within the top 4 wins the FA Cup or the League Cup, then it goes down to the next place in the table, and it's kind of in the same sort of way with this, but slightly different. So if Liverpool finished outside, as it says, if Liverpool or any other team finished outside the Champions League, but they've got history of being in the Champions League beforehand, then they will go on. And then they will go on to doing it every now and again. And so every other season, so they'll have the history of it. So it's an interesting concept to say, and it'd be interesting to see if this actually goes all the way through. Yusuf says, can you put the thing you're reading on the screen? I see some people sharing the screen. I can, but it's a little bit difficult with this setup, mate. It's very, very tricky, which is why I don't do it all that often. Because it's very, very limited. Because as you'll notice, I don't use the same software that everybody else, the majority, including Garage Football, they use StreamYard. I don't use StreamYard. It's completely different. So I'm trying to keep this as central as possible. I will try and do it for next week, mate. Not a problem. I know, because I'll try and sort it out for that. It's not an issue. But it's going to be difficult for everybody to read the text. So it doesn't really. I don't always do that. But if you want me to try it, I'm more than happy to try it. I've been doing it for a good few weeks now, and again, I would have appreciated you asking it a little bit earlier, because we're basically coming up to the end of it now. So I'm going to wrap it up at past. So guys, if there's anything you want to talk about, the 9 people that are currently logged in, is anything you want to talk about, then let's go for it. Otherwise, we'll wrap it up in a couple of minutes. So get your questions in, guys. Get your questions in. And Yusuf, I don't like to call you out on these sort of things, mate, but you do it every week, and I'm glad. I say we'll put it under the draw a line under it, as I should say, and hopefully from next week you'll be, because you've watched this channel enough over the last few weeks to understand, at least get the gist of the concept. So I'm hoping that you will listen to what I'm talking about. Yusuf says, do you watch Arsenal Fan TV? Nope, I haven't watched it, but I obviously read about what happened to Claude the other day, and I do think about, and it's a horrible thing to see when anybody passes away over the last whatever period of time. I never knew the bloke personally, as I say. haven't watched Arsenal Fan TV for about 5 years. They bore me very, very quickly, and yeah, but it was really upsetting to hear what happened to Claude the other day, and my thoughts are with his family, in case anybody is watching this on the replay, which I doubt. But yeah, it's a horrible thing for someone to go through. It really genuinely is. So, anything else that you guys want to talk about? We've got 4 minutes. Anything you want to talk about? I mean, I shouldn't have really done this tonight because there's not enough people watching, and I'm guessing everyone's watching Emmerdale before the football starts. Because you guys are normally a lot more interactive than this. But maybe some of you got heat stroke from the other night, from the other day, drinking in the 2021, 22, depending where you are. No. Nobody else. Jeremy. Mitch? Rick? Anyone? Last call. Last orders. You said that's not a question. Why would I want to talk about Kane? Why would I want to talk about Kane? That's not a question. He's a very, very talented footballer. Wasted at Spurs. I think he's gonna leave next. I think he's gonna move on next season. I genuinely do. If Spurs don't do anything this season, I honestly do, like a lot of people are talking about. I do think he's gonna be off. I genuinely do think. And Aguero, I haven't got much to say about. He's again fantastic footballer coming to the end of his career, and certainly the end of his contract. That's it. Well, you can't, mate. I can't, because I've got to go over to the join in with the I want to join in. I don't. So we'll leave it there because I want to join in with the Garage Football guys. So guys, for those that are watching the replay, anybody put your conversation, put your things down, at your questions down in the comments, and I'll be more than happy to read out those subjects you want me to talk about next week. But in the meantime, guys, look after yourselves, take care, and I'll see you soon. Well, obviously, because the preview for the Wolves game will be up on Saturday for YouTubers, for YouTube subscribers, and on Patreon on Friday. So, all the best. Ta-da.